One of the core beliefs of Shia Muslims is the occultation of the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi, may Allah hasten his reappearance. During this period, the Imam lives and walks among us. However, we are not able to recognize him as Allah Almighty has placed a veil between him and us. This concept of occultation can be challenging for Muslims and non-Muslims to understand. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, speaks about the people that lived during the time of occultation. There will be confusion and disappearance for him. Some people will go astray and others will be guided. To clear this confusion, it is important to examine the occultations that Allah has placed on his past messengers and proofs of his authority. In this video, we will examine the occultation prophet Yousef or Joseph, peace be upon him, and what happened to his people. There are many lessons that can be learned about the life of Prophet Yousef. In the Quran it is stated, indeed in the story of Yousef and his brothers there are lessons for all who ask, 1207. The period of the occultation of Prophet Yousef was that of 20 years. Of these 20 years, Prophet Yousef was in a well for 3 days, lived as a slave, sent to prison for some years, and for the remaining years he was Minister of Finance in Egypt. It is important to note that Yousef obtained his prophethood during these years but did not reveal himself to his people. The Quran states, "And when he, Yousef, attained his full manhood, we gave him wisdom and knowledge, the prophethood. Thus we reward the doers of good." 12:22. Even when his brothers visited Egypt when he was the Minister of Finance, they did not recognize him. And Yousef's brothers came and entered his presence. He recognized them, but they were unaware of who he really was. 12:58. In addition to the brothers of Yousef, his father Prophet Yaqub, peace be upon him, was unaware of where his son was located while in occultation. Yaqub sent his sons to look for Yousef. "O my sons, go and search diligently for Yousef and his brother." 12:87. It is only when the sons of Yaqub returned to Egypt and met Yousef again after having learned their mistakes that Allah lifted the veil of occultation. "Are you really Yousef?" he said. "I am Yousef, and here is my brother. Allah has truly been gracious to us." 12:90. Let's recap and summarize the occultation of Prophet Yousef and how it is similar to the occultation of the Imam of our time. Allah Almighty has placed a veil on Prophet Yousef for many years. Yousef lived and walked among his people, but even his brothers did not recognize him. It was not until his brothers and his people were tested that Allah placed Yousef out of occultation. Imam Sadiq narrates, master of this matter, al-Qaim, who has been wronged and whose right has been denied, goes and comes among people frequently, walks in their markets and sits on their mats, but they do not know him, until the will of Allah permits him to introduce himself to them, as Allah has permitted Prophet Yousef to introduce himself to his brothers. Stay tuned for future videos as we increase our knowledge of the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi. May Allah hasten his reappearance.